Welcome to episode 237 of the UFO Buster Radio News Report. It's actually a Monday for today. Just got off of the weekend, started Monday. It's back to work, folks. Time to get your asses back in gear. Sadly for me, I feel like I'm still on the weekend. It's like I don't want to let go. I'm holding on to that. Like right now, I barely know what to say at the moment. So that's the way it's been today. You know, when people say you have a case of the Mondays, that's exactly what I have today. It's like, do I even want a podcast right now? I don't even think that I'm podcast worthy at the moment. But you know, I recently looked on UBR Truth Seekers. I do that a lot. And by the way, if you're not following Facebook, Instagram, Twitters, that's where to find me. And also the UFO Buster Radio Facebook group, UBR Truth Seekers. So I was looking at UBR Truth Seekers, and thanks to Terry, we have something to talk about today. Because really, it's been kind of light. And unless you're regurgitating the same story over and over, it's hard to really have anything to talk about, to be honest. But Terry brought something to mind. You know what happens, right? The hamsters just start going overtime in the brain. And you start thinking about ideas and things to do. So thanks, Terry. Thanks a lot. And I'm sure that people are going to like you too. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to give your Facebook profile to anybody because they'll be like, right, yeah, thanks, Terry. Thanks for letting him know that this came out. That's basically what's going to happen. But I thank him anyway because I appreciate anyone that's on UBR Truth Seekers, the UFO Buster Radio Facebook group, and the Manny Moonraker Facebook page, for both. And the Twitters at UFO Buster Radio, because it is your contributions that keeps me interested in the topic, because that's what this is about. UFO Buster Radio is about the blue-collar guy, getting that understanding and trying to figure out what is it about ufology that keeps us hooked. I mean, literally, we are hooked on this. And there's a reason for that. And a lot of it comes from our lack of understanding of what it all means. Not just ufology, not just ET and nice triangular crafts or hovering over cities like Phoenix. It's about the greater understanding of where we fit in the universe. And what does it all mean when puny people like us have to figure out what does the rest of the universe, what is it like? How does it function? What does it mean? I'm thinking today I don't sound as loud as I usually do because the call-in line is not on right now. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an increase in amps, you know, so I sound a little louder because kind of like a preamp kind of thing. So it's not on because I'm thinking that we're going to use it later on in the week. And you'll see why when we get to today's episode. Hit it. This is the story for today. Now, we actually did the story about this particular individual quite a long time ago when Big O was still around, when he was still part of the pack that did UFOs. Now he's part of the pack that drives trucks for a living. I mean, hey, I can't knock it, right? Because we know the old faithful Ronnie Dawson does the same thing. But kind of Big O, I think he takes it to a different level. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. The person we're talking about today is Mike St. Lawrence. Mike St. Lawrence of the St. Lawrence Agency in Altamonte Springs, Florida. He has an agency. The title of this particular news report is Florida company has sold thousands of alien abduction insurance policies and paid out on one. That's right. Out of Altamonte Springs, Florida, it turns out that you can buy yourself an insurance policy against alien abductions worth $10 million. Yeah, and apparently because people are out there talking about raiding Area 51, now the policy covers that too. Just in case, for some reason, you get probed while you're out there in Area 51. Hell, if that event ever goes down on September 20th, you don't know what's going to happen. Prevailing thoughts behind it is that nothing's going to happen because basically it's going to be a gigantic Woodstock. People are going to be at that one, that visitor center just up there, just playing music, doing all kind of stuff, having a good time. No one is going to get close to Area 51. As a matter of fact, Arby's, the fast food chain, has committed an Arby's food truck to be there to feed, everyone that's high and needing to eat some good food. Because, they got those meat sandwiches. They got all kind of meats. They got the meats, according to the commercial. So that's what it is. It might be more like a circus, It might be more like a circus, and we don't know. We don't know who's going to show up. And it's entirely possible that the person responsible for putting this together, that was my Brooklyn stuff coming out right there, together. The person for putting this together won't even show up to this fucking thing. Several other people will. They'll be there, just for fuck's sakes. But I guarantee you, no one is going to attempt to cross the line and head into the base. I mean, really, you've got to be completely numb in the nuts to do that. You got to be completely crazy. Let's get back to Mr. St. Lawrence. So Mr. St. Lawrence, he made popularity, right? Because apparently he's had this policy. 6,000 in total of these policies has been created since 1987. And apparently business is picking up right now just because of what's happening with all this Area 51 memes and the raid and the get-together over in Nevada. Well, it turns out you can actually buy one of these for $24.95, and it will now include the coverage if you end up going to the raid and something happens. And you don't even have to wait. The minute you pay for it, that thing covers you. You can actually get a digital copy of this thing for, $19.95. You save paper, you're saving the world. You might not be saving your anal, but you're saving the world because it won't be on paper. So there you go. So 6,000 of these. And here's the thing. There's a quote in this article. Actually, there's a few by St. Lawrence. And basically, he talks about the actual policy itself. And here's a quote. He says, "I don't want to try to rip somebody off. So there's an IQ test that you can take. It's really important that you do this. Before you buy this policy, head out to Area 51. Before you head out butt naked into the desert and wait to get abducted and probed and all that kind of stuff because you think you're going to, cash in the bucks, $10 million. I mean, a lot of people would give up the booty for that. Would you? Would you give up your posterior for 10 million G's, dollars, G's, whatever, G's, whatever? Think about that, $10 million. Will you give up the booty? Well, here's the IQ test that you need to take. And if you answer yes to any of these, more than one, then you don't qualify for actually buying this particular policy. You would be disqualified. You would not be able to buy this. Take your $20 to $25, stick it in your pocket, and get probed somewhere else. First question. Do you have a sense of humor? It's an important question, and I guarantee most of you listening to this podcast have a sense of humor. I'm going to answer yes to that one. Remember, you cannot answer yes to one or more. I'm sorry, you can answer yes more than once. God, it makes this. I need a freaking policy just to read this shit. B, do you take this coverage seriously? I'm going to let you guys answer that. My answer is no. I do fucking not. C. Were your parents related before they were married? I have to think about that one. No, the answer is no. It looks like I can buy the policy, folks. I don't know about you guys. I know C, it might be a hard one for a lot of people. Might be a hard one. But you can only answer yes once. So, if you answer A to C one time, yes, you qualify to go and get this policy. And there is a number here, and I was going to call it, but we're not connected to the phone lines right now. We will. This week, we're going to call them. If you decide you can't wait for Manny Moonraker to call them, the number is in the description of the podcast, along with an address in case you feel like you need to write him a little letter about your policy. Maybe you have more questions about it, right? Maybe you need to know specifically what kind of probing you need to receive during your abduction in order to, cash in. Cha-ching. He can answer those questions for you. I know I'm not. And if you want to go to the website and you want to see exactly what's being offered, there's other questions. There's an example that you can look at for the policy that you'll receive in the mail. You can go to their website, the homepage for the St. Lawrence Agency. It's also in the description. It's not stlawrenceagency.com. It is UFO2001.com. So check it out. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to Mrs. Moonraker, and I said, you know what? I think this would be a great way to have a contest for the listeners. Because, I don't mind covering one of you guys. I mean, really. I would love to have a policy put out on you. Basically, if you get probed, maybe we can share $5 million apiece. I'd sacrifice you. Why not? I mean, hell, really? Come on. We'll discuss that later on after we try to get Mr. St. Lawrence on here to talk to us about how we can offer that to the listeners. And he might not come on here because that's probably a form of probing for him too. So he might not come on here. Maybe we'll just speak in private. I'll let you guys know as the week goes on. But if you want a policy, you can't wait for the Moonraker to hook you up. Go ahead and check it out. The link's in the description. That's all I got for you guys today. That is it. I can tell you this much. For those of you who follow me on social media, you've already seen the initial stages of the Alien Hunter game that's kind of modeled after UBR, and it has my voice all over it. So it's an original. If you get some other motherfucker out there that has a game on Google that says UFO Buster Radio, it's a fake. Unless you hear me, it's a fake. True story. But in the meantime, don't forget to like, share, follow, tell your friends about me, tell your mom, your dada. And as a matter of fact, if your grandpa needs a policy, I get one for him too. This is Manny Moonraker. I tell you, it's that kind of Monday. It's one of those Mondays where you really kind of wish you didn't have to get out of bed. And for fuck's sake, I'm ready to get back into bed. I thank you guys for listening. I will be back later on in the week with more news about the policy and possibly some really crazy stuff. By the way, I like that song Anomaly. So we're going to check out with it again. Ciao.